Hello, I want to talk about tactics used by narcissists. Pardon for my English, I'm defiantly not a English-speaking person. I want to talk about crazy making, so-called gaslighting. A lot of good videos are out there. I want to add my perspective and share with you my findings. I personally find this topic very important and crucial. Today I want to talk about some under-the-hood stuff. Want to touch big topic of one of the major crazy-making mechanisms. First of all, for better understanding, let's talk about psychological defense mechanisms. One of the most used is denial. What serves denial? Before that, let's touch problem of so-called self-schema. I'll try explain this concept using my own words. So, in a nutshell, self-schema is person's own perception of themselves. Usually it's better than average. Like in that joke, everyone in this town are better than average. So what I'm trying to say here, in case of narcissists, their self-schema is very touchy and their perception of themselves are grandiose, megalomaniac, close to perfection. Superego, supreme being. What does it mean? Worth mentioning that our partially consciousness processes up to fully unconsciousness. So what does it lead to? It's lead to this trick. If narcissists feel threat to his or her perfection, they just externalize it by, in other words, deny. They do not possess that quality, period. But that object exists and do not disappear by itself, so it goes to so-called shadow. Or to make hard stuff simple, it projects outside. Denial leads to projection. And that is some sort of cleansing mechanism for ego, to maintain white and shining self-schema. No internal conflicts do that. Very easy and comfortable. Here root of lame rationalizations, cop-outs, spin, etc. Here why scapegoat figure is so needed. Scapegoat as in a Bible, provide cleansing mechanism for a subject. Sacrificial animal is beaten and punished for faults of the person, and person end up white and shining, no sin, no spots on reputation. Deny, project punish guilty one and justice was made, all is fair. Zero unfairness detected. Nothing to be ashamed for. That's why it's called defense mechanism, it's defend ego. But what about gaslighting and crazy making, all that spin and twist? So as described in many times, so-called gaslighting, also known as rationalizations, spin and etc., appear in situations of conflict of some sort, where ego, self-schema of an individual get threatened. So, defense mechanism stands up, and we have what we have. Abuser becomes victim, because abuse do not fit in his or her self-schema, and they reject, deny it, therefore project act of abuse on recipient. That how abused become abuser, and real abuser logically becomes victim. There are other fancy words for that. But let's try to use more simple ones this time. So, recipient of this act, defiantly going to be confused. First of all, he was abused and next was accused in abuse and demanded to redress. All this contradictory information creates a huge cognitive dissonance, you just having difficult time to reconcile information in your head. Often you freeze. It's trance-like state. Your critical thinking is short-circuited. You get caught in double bind. By your own eyes you see one situation, you just was abused, but by another sensory input you receive message highly charged with emotions, that it's your fault and abuser are you. Try to prove wrong them. It's almost impossible to prove negative. And you are again in inferior position and narcissist dominates over you. He from his very congruent position of righteousness and holiness, cause of white and shining self-schema, attack you, but it's attack from righteous anger, and righteous anger is acceptable for self-schema, and society. And you are down and dirty, you are bad person, almost criminal, and deserve righteous punishment like eye for an eye. In a mind of narcissist you just did tremendous abuse to him, so for the justice he must repay you with the same coin, it is justice. Trying to think logically and reasonably you just cannot get it, how it can be possible, it's insane. Am I going crazy? How can I rebut accusations of narcissist? To be continued. Thanks for listening.